Red Bulls for Gothamist, and then hung it up 12 years ago, was it? Was it right after World Cup 2014?
It was end of 2015.
Okay.
So
11 years ago.
11 years-ish, yeah.
Yeah. And had like clean break from the US soccer sphere, which is rare. I guess Brian Strauss had like the cleanest break because he's gone into complete hiding. But you were there and then you were gone, and now I've roped you back in. So guys, thank you for joining me and the sickos for a Brown Liquor special.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. I mean, Dan and I are inexorably linked, as they say. You know, we both started right around the same time at the same outlet. You know,
we started with some terrible idea of doing a trash talk DC Red Bulls like co-feature in what was that, fucking 2011? And
something like that.
I don't think anybody read it. It was just us like trash talking each other without knowing each other.
I mean, me and Furshaw read it. So
well, good.
And I think Jonah read it. So there was an audience, but you were at Gothamist, and Pablo, you were at DCist.
DCist, which is owned by the Gothamist people
at the time, at least.
Yeah. I mean, both used to be kind of wildly popular sites within their own cities and stuff, and
back with
that's how I got started.
Media.
It's how I got started in soccer writing. I mean, somebody just, my friend Andrew knew an editor there and said, hey, they're looking for someone to write about DC United. And I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll do it,
Did you have a journalism background at all?
No, I, not only did I never go to college, I failed out of high school. I don't even have a GED, so I did that. And then I when I say I did that, I just meant like got drunk when I was 15 and failed out of high school. And then, when bartending for a while, worked on cars, obviously, for like 20 years. And then just started freelancing. And eventually now, I feel like if The Guardian or the Athletic or New York Times, whatever, had found out that I don't even have a high school degree, they'd have fired me. But they never asked. So, here I am. I do have a really... I have to say quickly, I have I've never done birthday parties. Birthday's coming up in like 2 weeks, and my friend Nick here in DC is like trying to convince me to do one, and I was like, this is last year, and I was like, I don't want to do that shit, and he was like, dude, I had the best idea. You should go online and like get your GED, and then just make a huge deal about it. Be like, have a like Pablo got his GED party, and I told Nick, I said, you know what's fucked up, dude? Like, what if I fail it?
Yeah.
Like, what if I don't know if like I can handle the ego rupture
like
part of
how much algebra do you need to know to get a GED? Because everybody jokes about I don't think I could pass like 8th grade math at this point.
Yeah, man, I've heard that, and this is so believable. I heard that Trump made it harder. The Trump administration made the GED harder.
That makes
like
sense.
Obviously just to disproportionately fuck with certain communities. I'm sure he did that, but so now I'm like, to your point, yeah, I don't know if I could do like a complex math equation right now. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Anyways.
Dan, you have your GED, right?
I think so. I think it's so valid. Upstate New York public school, it's great.
Charlie Boehm is about to join us, so he is the other DC representative here. We're kind of evenly split between New York and DC right now. Pablo, I'm going to ask you to monopolize the stream for a little bit because of the story you published today. What's up, Charlie?
Charlie,
hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, Charlie.
What's up, dude? Everybody knows Charlie Boehm, the great writer for MLS Soccer and a million other outlets. I believe you're still writing for Soccer America, and you've done some stuff for Backheel. Like you're all over the place. But just so everybody knows, Pablo has a hard out at about 9:30 or so. And I really want to talk about the story that you had published today on The Guardian on fucking Donald Trump playing high school soccer 65 years ago. What, like, how did you get put onto this? And like, what was your anticipation like for the social media shitstorm Hell yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a photo of him with the soccer team, like maybe right before he got elected, whatever it was, 10 years ago, and I I just thought, it'd be like fun to talk to some of his former teammates. I mean, fun is maybe not the word, but it would be like something, It's like, look, we're soccer writers. I mean, like, if I want to write about President Trump and get it published, I have to have some sort of a soccer hook, right? And I actually pitched it a few times at The Athletic, and even did some reporting for that story while I was at The Athletic, but I couldn't ever get the piece to a point where I felt good publishing it. I'd done just one interview for it, and it was with the Peter Tickton guy who's sort of like a Trump sycophant. So at that point, it would have just been one guy saying, like, he was the greatest human being ever, and he scored 100 goals and all this other shit. So, but then I really bore down like a month or two ago and started really tracking people down. Then went up there and went to like the Newburgh Free Library and just like digging through newspaper clippings and stuff. Went to the campus of the school, took photos, that sort of stuff, and put together maybe a more nuanced story for sure. Dude, I told Alex Abnos, my editor, I was like, there is no way that the only thing that would have kept me from publishing a story is I just don't fucking want to get. I mean, like, I don't believe this, but I know that some fucking blowhard on Twitter is going to be like, you're platforming a fascist or some shit like that. By the way, the same person doesn't read the fucking story.
Right.
I spent 3/4 of the story, like, eviscerating a fascist, not, like, so, yeah, I guess I was sort of prepared for it, but, like, unfortunately, Matt, like, I'm somebody who takes a lot of shit on Twitter personally, so it's like, I can't just tune it out every time someone's like, you dumb fat fuck. I'm just like, oh, I am. Like,
I shouldn't have laughed at that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's all right. So yeah, it's been a long fucking day. It's fine, But whatever. I think it's a good story.
Yeah, it was a good story. First of all, I'm sorry you take that stuff. I think everybody takes it at least a little bit personally. Yeah. There was man. Definitely a time around World Cup 2022 where it's like you can only see 1,000 people screaming MLS shill, so many times before you're like, oh, this probably isn't worth it for my mental fucking health. But like wading into these waters with the way things are, that's like MAGA people are fucking scary.
They are, man. Like, really, really briefly, like maybe 2-3 years ago, I was dating this woman who was a Guggenheim Fellow photographer, and she did portrait photography of migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border, and she'd interview them and stuff. And I went and worked with her there for like 3-4 days. So, long story short, we were at the border wall, and we're helping like usher people into sort of temporary camps where they then get picked up by customs enforcement and stuff. And at one of these camps, there's like these fucking MAGA streamers roll up, like with selfie sticks and stuff, and they're like walking around trying to like dox migrants, and they're saying shit like, the one guy is like in self-image, he's like, this is what entitlement looks like, everybody. There's like, these people don't even have a pot to piss in, right? And eventually, like, I just got so angry that I didn't physically assault one of them, but I like started screaming at them. This woman, I go back to the hotel that night, wake up the next morning, my phone is melting. It turns out that like one of these streamers is wildly popular. He put a video of me doing that on YouTube. Marco Rubio retweeted it and was just like, this is ridiculous. And then somebody, like some random soccer person, was like, oh my God, it's MLSist. And within 4 or 5 hours, there were people sending me my home address and my DMs. Like, I'm going to fucking find you. Like, so to your point, they are fucking scary. Like, I will say, like, most of it to me is just, like, pathetic, limp-dicked. Like, you ain't gonna do shit. But there's some fucking crazy motherfuckers out there. So, yeah, it wasn't fun. But I don't think anybody's gonna kill me over a Trump soccer story.
Yeah,
I hope to God that's not
there.
played at my funeral. Exactly. Like,
yeah. We have that on.
Stab me?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
We're putting that on the tombstone, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan, when you hear shit like this, do you miss it?
Oh yeah, I totally miss covering the league. Jesus Christ, man. The funny thing is we were talking about, the inevitable like you fat fuck thing. Like, my last year was 2015, so it was NYCFC, Red Bulls, and Cosmos all playing in New York at the same time, which,
Hell yeah.
you know, part of the reason the retirement happened is that was like 30 match days over the year, and it was killing my life. But, you know, you have to like monitor the fans. You have to understand how they're feeling and everything like that as you're churning out whatever random bullshit's happening day by day. And I don't remember what caused this, but like one day I went to the, what was it, NYCFC forums or what the fuck ever. And there was some thread about something I had tweeted, and it stuck in my head, what, 11 years later, 12 years later. Somebody said, "That smug, cozy cunt face."
That's right.
And it's like,
Dan, this just came out to me like a lightning bolt. I remember it in the moment. It literally said that smug, cozy cunt face.
Right.
That's so dark, bro. Oh my God.
That's going on the tombstone. That is the one.
Please, when
here lies a smug, cozy cunt face.
Yes. I think as I've retold it most times, it goes from cunt to fat. But that shit sticks with you. And honestly, like I did a whole thing when I know, right? I did a whole thing when I retired, and honestly, like one of the 3 reasons was like it was getting so toxic. It's 1,000 times worse now, but like, you know, you had these new fans coming in, these old entitled fans, whatever the fuck the Cosmos were in 2015. And it was just intolerable. And Matt, thank you for leaving out that I basically ran the MLS subreddit for 4 years, because you know, that's a lot of PTSD that I don't want to relive. But like it gnaws at you and it wears you down, and eventually I had the benefit of, it was a weird side hobby. It was never the job, which is like very entitled to say, I realize, but you know, I could walk away, and that's not something I would say everybody can do. But
do you guys even smug entitled? I just not to like talk about soccer at all, but like I have been losing my mind. I've been losing my mind at this Miami fan bullshit this week. It's like I just like, it is, dude. The response from like La Familia is where they're like, these players should appreciate us. We've been so our fans have been supporting this team their entire lives. I'm like, the fucking club is like 6 years old. Like
they're 6-year-old fans, like, man.
It's like the video of Messi just sort of being like, "What are you doing?" to them is like one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my entire life. He's like, that chant when it's used properly and it's for an intended purpose in South America is used when like someone's like life is in danger or something like that. It's just like I cannot get over it. It makes me look, man. I've met so many MLS fans who I like really like a lot, and there's like really really good supporters out there, and then there's sometimes a shit like this happens, and it just like I can't cringe hard enough. Like, you know,
there's a lot of authentic MLS, NWSL, US soccer fandom out there, and then like shit like this, which feels like such cosplay. It cringe is the right word.
So how much of this do we blame on Franco Panizo making his heel turn after losing his credential?
Hey man, people know his name.
Franco and I. Go ahead, Charlie.
In La Familia's defense, if the prices they're paying, I would probably be pretty grouchy too. Every time I stepped inside that place.
Dude, Charlie, do you remember Franco and I's incident at that fucking? It was at Red Bull Arena. Franco nearly got me fired from my job. This is back in the day. He like
rage, the blinding rage of Ben Olsen never burned.
Oh
hotter. And when Pablo.
DC had just gotten hosed by like on a call by Geiger and by Mark Geiger and
Geiger show.
And yeah, exactly, the Joker in the middle has been called
Joker in the middle.
Yeah, it likes cat pee. So anyways, and so I interviewed Ben after the game, and Franco and I were both freelancing for MLS at the time. And so we're kind of teamed up a little bit, and I was like, "Can you transcribe this?" He transcribes my audio, Ben, and he goes, "Oh my God, man!" Ben said like, yeah, we got hosed on this call. I just hate that guy. talking about Geiger, and I was like, shit, are you serious? He said that? He's like, yeah. And, of course, I'd just been writing about soccer for 2 years. Now I'd be like, give me the audio. Like,
Right.
like four of us are going to listen to this. Instead, I just ran with it. And then the piece is up for like 20 minutes, and I get a phone call from Ben Olsen, who's like on the bus, and he's like yelling, but I never fucking said this, blah, blah, blah. And so I listen to the audio, and sure enough, Ben says, I hate to be that guy. Like, I hate to complain about the refs. And dude, we're still in that like media room at Red Bull Arena, and I looked at Franco, and I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You fucked me, you motherfucker!" Like, I think I was basically yelling at him. I was all hopped up on that free Red Bull they had back there.
Pablo,
Yeah.
when was this?
It had to be
remember?
like 2013, maybe 2014 at max. Something like that. Yeah.
So
Legendary year.
my last game in 15, I think it was a Eastern Conference semifinal against the Crew. Crew had sort of blown out the Red Bulls first leg in Columbus. It was home leg. I think Red Bulls won 1-0, but they were knocked out or whatever. And we were back in the locker room. I know I'm done, but nobody else does, right? And we're doing the rounds, and we get up to Dax, and we do the interview. And at some point, we get this like jumbled answer out of Dax, and I love Dax. Don't get me wrong, but like basically, we played it back, and it sounded like he was saying he got a contract renewal, right? And there was like three. Franco was one of them. I don't remember who the other guy was, but like we're sitting there listening. We like take a third party to tie break what he was saying, and he agrees with my interpretation. It's, ooh, Angel's Envy, good shit, man.
Yeah.
And the tie break goes to me. Dax said that he renewed his contract. So Franco's like, all right, man, you win. Tweet it out. I agree. And so, I tweet out Dax McCarty, mentions that the team has already renewed his contract. I leave Red Bull Arena. I get on the path. I go underground. I come out home, and I have 1,000 tweets at me, including a DM from Dax being like, man, that's not what I said. Which, fine. Somebody got the audio wrong, fine. But there's a tweet from Franco in the middle of it that's like, I didn't agree with this interpretation. I thought it was
God, bro. God, what a little bitch. Come on, Franco. No, Franco.
So like, I apologize to Dax. I'm like, what? I'm sorry, man. I'll fix it. But like, my reputation was done anyhow. I was out of this a week later.
Did you see I recently tweeted about the Jan Gunnar Soli doing a DJ set
The halftime
on red
thing?
card
Oh my
suspension? And Dax responded immediately. It was just like, I can't tell you how pissed off all of us were in the locker room at this. It was like blah, blah, blah. and then Jan Gunnar Soli responded to Dax. It was just like, I meant no harm with my you meant no harm by what? Like playing a DJ set on a monster truck next to some woman with an electric violin in the middle of a playoff game? Honestly, no harm, no foul. I think it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
I mean, Rafa Marquez was so pissed he threw a fake fight after the match.
You guys realize how much like kind of more entertaining MLS used to be in a very specific way?
Yep.
Yeah. Like I know
In
the
a minor league
quality,
baseball kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the quality was lower. I fully know that. I know that
Beyond
it's
the
more
soccer,
accessible to more
beyond
people.
the actual soccer.
Yeah.
Beyond the actual soccer, it was a way more compelling product as far as I'm concerned.
I remember at like MLS Cup, 2013. I think it was the cold one, so it would have been 2013. I remember saying to someone like, "Appreciate this because these are the good old days. Like we are literally living the good old because like you could just walk up to the players and talk to them. Like
Yeah, you're like
there was no
like the band is still playing the small clubs right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like, look, the band has not graduated to arenas. Band thinks it's playing 90,000.
MLS is very much like playing mid-sized theaters right now.
Yeah. But like, if they're acting like they're playing fucking the Rose Bowl, which they're not. Okay, and they like the, MLS comms and team comms should understand that. We're talking too much about soccer. I want to talk a little bit more about what everybody's drinking. I saw Pablo. You're on Angel's Envy.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I haven't. This was when I used to work on cars full time. I used to get people would tip me and like liquor. This is like a tip I got last year. It's not bad. It's like finished I think in rum casks or whatever. And it's a little bit. It's a 55% ABV. So it's
I hope you're driving after this.
I'm not. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, like Uber exists, thankfully.
Yeah. Charlie, what you got?
This is 45th Parallel. I don't know much about it, but it's a distillery in Wisconsin. I stumbled onto it, Richmond Rye, and they are. I think it's New Richmond, Wisconsin, is where the distillery is. But I've developed a taste for mixing things up with rye every now and again. So
Nice.
enjoying.
Are you drinking it straight, or are you drinking it with soda?
I've got Harris Teeter store brand sparkling water that I'm bubbling it up with.
I actually like that.
Responsible.
Yeah.
I'm home with a child, so.
So I will say, I have a problem with whiskey and soda because
You
if
could
I
have
just
stopped
put-
it. I had a problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Come
fair.
on.
If I put any kind of whiskey on the rocks with like club soda or seltzer, like I cannot taste the whiskey. And like the drunkest I will get still, and I'm almost 50, the drunkest I will get is when I'm drinking whiskey and soda like that. So I don't know that you're making the responsible choice.
That's the way I feel about like a martini. Like if
Really?
you have like two or three martinis. No, I mean you can taste the alcohol obviously, but it's like there's no way to get me like one of the only ways to. I mean, I drink real talk, man. I drink like plenty, and one of the real only ways to get me like embarrassingly fucking drunk is it was like give me 3 or 4 martinis in like an hour and a half, and I'll be like I'll be like crying about some, I'll be like on the floor trembling or something like that, like we call the police, yeah. I mean, people don't even know MLS in 2013 is like way better. They didn't even know like fucking Connor Lade is.
Well, next time it's gonna be a clear liquor special. So we'll.
Do you guys
we'll
remember
get
that Connor
version.
Lade? Did Connor Lade get called into a January camp, or did I hallucinate that?
I feel
He did, right?
I think he did.
might
I think he
have.
did. Yeah.
To the tab
Yeah.
I go.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I better be right about this because if I hallucinated that, I might just euthanize myself. Like,
It's a more entertaining alternate reality if it didn't.
You're right.
happen.
July 2013, January.
yeah,
camp,
boy, that's what I'm
Jurgen
talking
Klinsmann,
about.
but was an unused substitute against Canada. So
I knew all that Tylenol my mom took would pay off eventually.
very
Good
impressive, Pablo. 2013 really stuck.
That actually made me really sad that you recalled that.
Yeah.
Dan, what are you drinking?
I am just wrapping up a glass of Nika straight from the bottle. I've done Japanese whiskey for a while, and
Yeah.
this was still affordable in the 2020s.
Mhm.
It is a 50.6. I think it's a sherry cask, or I might be making it up. I don't even know. It's been good, but I'm about to move on because my glass is just about empty. My wife now works for LVMH, which owns plenty of liquor brands. So I happen to have a very full bottle of Sir Davis, which is the Beyonce bourbon, and I've heard it's very good. But I
Wow.
don't know that I've ever had it.
Wow.
We're cracking it tonight.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like watching Geraldo open up the vault.
Jimmy Hoffa's glove box or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Road maps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say something about Tactics Free Zone demographics is like we have quite a few readers who would recognize that reference, old enough to appreciate.
Yeah, the Venn diagram of like people who watched the movie UHF and people who subscribe to like Doyle's.
Yeah.
It's like a circle,
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah.
The much smaller circle inside the much larger, but there's like it's 100% overlap. Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh man.
People
You
wondering
guys want to
if,
hear? You guys want to hear? Can I vent about my former employer for a minute?
Please,
Allowed on this one?
please.
I'll give you a real.
I thought Matt would be the
fun.
first
I'll give
to
you a
do
fun.
that.
Give you a fun Wayne Rooney. Give you a fun Wayne Rooney story too, if you want. They're both the same story. So, when Rooney like flamed out, it was at Derby or wherever he coached after that. What was his most recent coaching gig? In the UK.
Plymouth Argyle, wasn't it?
Argyle, yeah. When he failed, the Athletic has this like expansive UK operation, and I was asked by the UK, he said, "Can you write a story about like what he was like at DC?" And I said, "Sure, I can do that, yeah." And then I said, "But I got to be honest with you, man. Like, it's gonna need to go through legal review, a bunch of other shit, because like he was just drunk so frequently that like he missed in the last year that he was there, like a dozen or so training sessions. I mean, Pete Shuttleworth, his number two, was like running training half the time. And of course, UK side, brilliant, brilliant mate. Put that in a smug ass, put that in a fat faced smug cunt accent, whatever it was, Dan. And so whenever I go to work, I like get a bunch of sources. Obviously, nobody wants to speak on a Record People speak to me on background. There's people like well connected at DC United who worked with them, players, administrators, whatever. I write up a story, and it goes to even on the U.S. side, editorial. Like, this is a great fucking story. It's like a kind of a bombshell, On the UK side, they go, well, all of a sudden they start hemming and hawing and put up a fight, and they say like, and also, by the way, I send for right of first refusal, I send like, or ROR, sorry, right of reply. I send this all to Wayne's agent, and I say, hey, does Wayne want to, can he respond to any of this, whatever? And this guy blows a fucking gasket, calls somebody he knows at The Athletic in the UK. I think it was David Ornstein or something like that. And all of a sudden, there's like genuine editorial concerns about my piece. And then it ends up basically getting neutered in spite. And one thing I'm convinced that one of the reasons that I wasn't asked to return at The Athletic was because I literally had almost a screaming match with 2 or 3 editors where I said, this is fucking embarrassing. What if the New York Times knew that some dude's agent called somebody at the company, and you guys, because you're scared, A, of libel law shit, but B, eventually an editor at The Athletic in the UK said, we're really hopeful that Wayne will like do a column for us one day. Kind of like a mea culpa.
Because he could definitely write. He could definitely write.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And so that was like, that to me, that was like fucking shameful. I have never worked for any fucking outlet that would like spike a piece because somebody made, when I did that Ernst Tanner piece, dude, which was like months of work at The Guardian, we got a fucking cease and desist from his lawyer. We got like threatened every step of the way, and the piece still came out. It's like, so that was that's a fun story. But this seems like a place to air these types of grievances.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We thread the airing of grievances throughout the stream. And we'll try to do so in a way that doesn't, jeopardize Charlie's ability to collect a paycheck, but I think we'll be all right.
Of course, right. Yeah. Both of you guys face those distinct challenges,
Yeah.
in your content marketing roles.
Correct. Let me just because I think a lot of people want to know this. You're literally in a better place now with your career and who you're writing for than you were a year ago. Is that a fair characterization, or
I mean, 100%. Like, I don't have.
I just want to say, people don't know how the sausage is made, and people are curious about how the sausage is made and what a career in soccer media is like or is not like in Dan's case. And I mean, I think a lot of people were shocked when you weren't retained by The Athletic because you're the most interesting soccer writer in North America. You cover the most off the wall, like you do the historian stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't have to take the compliment. You don't have to.
No.
Right past the compliment.
I won't. But I will, to answer your question. Yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy my setup right now more than the one I came from. But I'll also say, The Athletic for a while was such a great place to work. I mean, I'm deeply proud of the shit that sort of the originals on the U.S. soccer desk that we built, and like things really changed. I think when the UK side kind of got involved, and I don't think that had the best pulse on what our audience really wanted to read. And then, dude, when Messi came, it was over. I mean, when Messi came, it was like, they were kind of driving the content direction bus, and it was like the only thing they cared about in American soccer was either Messi or certain U.S. men's national team stuff. And unfortunately, that we ended up following those instructions. We ended up squandering a lot of goodwill we built with a lot of readers, who are used to getting really thorough MLS coverage, So, for the first 3 or 4 years, I was there for almost 7 years. It was fantastic, man. Like and dude, the writers I work with, man, I have not one bad thing to say about any of those people. Paul, Felipe, Pence, Sam Stachel, all, whatever, Meg, Steph.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting people. Jeff, obviously, who I work with now. And Alex and Brooks too. They were wonderful, but shit changes, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, we're the three of us that are still in soccer media, and like we're all pretty lucky to still be drawn a
For sure.
paycheck from, like we've seen we were talking very briefly about Brian Strauss. Like Strauss to me is the best writer from American soccer journalism.
It's not even a question. Like it's like especially technically, just like his
Yeah.
I mean, it's like fucking art, man. You know,
Yeah,
like
like
sure.
the best most important column in U.S. soccer history was his Sports Illustrated column ahead of the 2014 World Cup, and that got fucking memory hold. You know, like that's gone. Like you have to.
Finding it online
It totally did.
today.
Yeah, it totally did.
Yeah.
I mean, I just shot for this like this Vice documentary that's airing now. I don't know if we'll talk about it or not, but I told the producer, we're kind of in that era of the U.S. national team. I was just like, you got to either talk to Strauss, or like find the column or mention it, because I can't tell you how seismic that was. I could make an argument that piece, the one about locker room unrest and players turning against Klinsmann, like I could make an argument that that's like the most consequential piece of men's soccer writing. If it's not the biggest one, it's like in the top 5 in the past 15, 20 years. Like. It's a short list.
No, it's the biggest one. It's the biggest
you think so?
one,
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
That was sporting. That was sporting news, right?
It
That
was a sporting news then, and I remember that came out, and I was already pretty well down the armchair analyst pathway at that point, but like that came out, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't I don't have the skill set to get that stuff on background, to get that stuff anonymously, to cultivate and like nurture sources and like do the stuff that you need to do, capital J journalism, to get a piece like that. And the fact that Brian Strauss is not drawing a paycheck covering soccer in North America fucking sucks, because he was the best journalist and he was the best writer out of all of us, I think.
Dude, when I was at the Athletic, me and Paul and some other people always try and convince the company to hire him and just make him. And when I talk to Brian a little more frequently, I'd be like, dude, you should just be what American soccer really needs is like it's like Paul Gardner, but for modern times. I mean, just somebody to fucking throw grenades, like torch all your fucking connections. If it's like if
it's Don Van Natta,
Dude,
like
for
the
sure. It's
like that's the version that if there was a healthy digital media ecosystem, and U.S. soccer as a whole was a place that you could actually make a living covering, like that would be the role.
Yeah,
I just want to can I butt in, and even though it wasn't my piece, like I want to air a few grievances about that piece at the risk of Brian hearing this and getting mad at me. I don't think people even realize there was so much of a backstory behind that piece. It was wild because I had just gone, or that was the very beginning of my attempt to go, like the first few months of trying to go full time, working in soccer and writing about soccer, and I had chosen it, like I'd set up to where I have a friend who lived in Denver at the time, so I had a place to stay. So I was out there for like five days. Like I got out there early, and my future wife was pretty annoyed with that at the time, but like it turned out to be so perfect, because the shitstorm that blew up after that piece came out was like it was just wonderful to be on site for it and watching the way different players reacted. And I knew Herc had a career in media that week because of how he reacted totally differently than everyone else on the team. But what was wild was I think I've truly lost respect on some level for Jurgen around that, because and a lot of it didn't really come out, but he sort of said kind of mealy-mouthed Jurgen platitudes about how this was like, this happens all the time in Germany. This is just people making stuff up, and just sort of implied that Brian was making things up, or wasn't
it's a bummer. Sometimes you lose a locker room, whatever. You have to get thrown into the cold water, Yeah.
But Brian had not only he had talked to people on and off the record, and a lot of players gave him info. He got some of that info at the MLS media roundtable, like preseason roundtable a few weeks before, and he knew how explosive it was all going to be, and he looked out for those guys. He did not he could have put names on some of those quotes, and he knew that in danger there. And as we turned out, it would very much have killed their national team or crippled their national team prospects. And so he had the right.
He could have also, by the way, he could also have ran the piece like it very soon after getting that stuff, and it would have added those players. There's like all sorts of shit that you have to consider that he did. You know what I mean? To do that properly.
Yeah.
That's like
He put in the work, and he looked out, and he thought ahead, and he kind of got shit on for I thought that was super whack. That like, and again, that was the easy way out, I guess, for Jurgen. A lot of coaches would do that in that situation, but Brian was just he went to the next level. Although he later told me that like that's the kind of stuff of like he felt like the industry was leaving him behind because people wanted anonymous source stuff. People wanted news breaking, and he's a storyteller, I think, fundamentally, and a prose guy.
Dude, he ran that story. It was like the week before the Snow Classico game. Remember that? I remember I saw him at RFK Stadium at DC United game. And he tells me, and this is so quintessentially Brian Strauss. Brian's like, much like me. Brian, I mean, I'm like an anxious person, a nervous person. I overthink things. Brian's like that on like just chemical grade steroids. And like, he tells me, he's like, it said something really funny that he was just like, I was like, have you talked to cameramen or U.S. Soccer? They pissed off you? And he's like, I don't know, like I think they're gonna sit me on the fucking roof in Colorado or something like that. That's what he said. It's like there was already forecast that like snow is gonna be. I was like, gonna sit me on the goddamn roof, like. It's like, that shit really stuck with me. We're standing there over a tray of unspecified beef product in the RFK press room. He's like about to get food poisoning from
This is Pablo. That you reminded me of one of the with Sporting KC being as bad as they were, at least until last week. This season,
God, man.
We've against all odds, the 2013 DC United team that was widely hailed as the worst in MLS history, one of the worst possibly in organized soccer history, are now back in the conversation, at least some level. And I think the thing that people inside baseball that would only come out in a forum like this right now, probably the most galling thing about that season, that team, was that DC United had instituted a mandatory donation for press box meals. So they were serving just some of the hottest garbage. I mean, it was like what they
you
didn't
have no
want
idea.
to serve
Like it was like
to the public
unidentifiable. Like,
downstairs at RFK, like bad food, and you had to pay $5, a mandatory donation, which is like so Orwellian.
It's like the kind of shit they'd
We were
feed
so mad.
like Gen Pop
week.
at a Supermax prison. It's just like really bad shit. And
I mean,
like,
MLS has always been
Yeah.
the Fire Fest of soccer leagues, so that kind of
for sure, exactly.
tracks,
They
doesn't
also this is how fucking cowardly DC United was. There was this like the woman who was like the media room attendant who would like collect the money was like her name was Bertha, and she was like I shit you not, she was like in her early 80s and had been volunteering with DC United since 1996, volunteering for an MLS team. Like, suck
Bertha's an angel. I
my
would die for
entire
that
dick,
woman.
DC United. And so they did this shit where they made this like 81-year-old lady like ask you for the $10. What the fuck are any of us gonna say? Like, oh, Bertha, sorry, no, I'm whatever, It was like criminal, Just to, like,
So
Yeah.
people have to understand. Then 4 years later, Atlanta United comes along, and people are like, they have a fucking Carvel soft serve ice cream machine.
yes, exactly. Like Doug, right? Like Doug Roberson's just like raw dogging the soft serve machine for free, and I'm fucking like, I'm out here giving like an elderly woman $30 to eat fucking prison food. DC United really squandered any chance of getting any positive coverage whatsoever. Like.
In retrospect,
Maybe
that was the beginning of the end.
if you give me a I don't know, like a Subway sandwich, I don't write about the fact that during COVID you made your front office employees patrol security in your stadium.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah.
That's why you guys may be worried about Pablo getting some blowback, for the Trump piece, but I know that this will be, any negative effects that he suffers from this will be motivational fuel, possibly for years to come. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Charlie once told me I would describe it as a healthy rivalry with Steve Goff for a while. I don't know I don't know if my therapist would call it a healthy rivalry.
I
I don't know if I
was
could say like
not.
he did not. I mean, I would say there were multiple years of our coexistence where he did not acknowledge my existence in any way whatsoever. I was always venting to Charlie about it. I'd be like, "What the fuck, man? Like this guy doesn't even I don't even exist to him." And Charlie just goes, exact words. Charlie's just like, "Dude, you should thank Steve Goff. He gave you like enough fuel to do like maybe a half decade of like industry leading work." Like, I think at some point,
Yeah.
Charlie was like, "You wouldn't be anything unless you hated." Like, it's true, dude. The only thing that fuels me is like professional pettiness, like being slighted. The second I got let go from the Athletic, my first thought was like, "I'm gonna make those motherfuckers pay for doing this." You know, like, so
I can relate
it's the
to that.
ultimate,
Yeah.
nobody believed in him. Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
believes in me. Actually,
Doyle, were
this one
you-
specific person didn't believe in me this one time, and I'm gonna burn them alive.
yeah.
crazy.
Doyle, were you at Charlie's wife Bonnie made him. There's somewhere in his house. There's like a framed thing like all his old credentials, and it always has to say one of them says MLSnet.com. Were you at
wow.
MLS Soccer during
No,
the
I was-
MLSnet?
No, I
It kind of be like
arrived-
if you met a modern day Red Bulls player who was like, I played for the Metro Stars.
Metro Stars,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah.
I think we lost the last Metro Star in the last couple. I don't remember who it was, but no, I came on board in summer of 2010 World Cup, and they were already MLS Soccer at that point, and yeah, I was full time in 2011, 15 years. So
Shit, man.
yeah,
So Charlie, you've been there long. I mean, when did you start freelancing there? Don't cry.
2004.
Don't cry.
wait,
2004?
2004?
I'm gonna cry
That's
for
right.
you, man. Jesus Christ.
Bro, this
Wait,
is like
it
that
was
might be like diagnosable or something. Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
It was a side hustle, man. I had come back from being abroad. I was in the Peace Corps, and then I moved
you
to
were
DC.
abroad?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, crazy, right? And I was applying for jobs, living with family here in the DMV area, and SoccerNet. You guys remember SoccerNet, the OGs?
Mm-hmm.
I've told the story on a couple of podcasts over the years, but yeah, they had a job posting they were like looking for writers in MLS markets, and I sent off whatever they asked for and forgot about it because months passed, and then months later on a random Saturday afternoon in June of 2004, I get a call, and it says like Bermuda. And it was this guy in the UK who was using a calling card that made it look like his phone was coming from his call was coming
That's
from Bermuda.
American soccer heritage right there.
yeah, he was like, "Hey, Charlie, it's Dan Cordemach. Can I speak to you as a source familiar with the situation?" Sorry, go ahead.
He was like, "Hey, I got your application. I had applied in like March or February or something, so months have gone by. And he's like, I got your application. It looks great. You know, like, we're having a hard time finding, you know, people in Americans, you know, with soccer background and stuff. And so can you go to the DC United game tonight? So DC United are playing LA Galaxy in like 3 hours.
Was this a Freddie Adu game?
This was Freddie Adu's rookie season.
Yeah,
This is the year they went
that
on
must
to
have been
win
why.
the
Okay,
cup. Well, this was going to be my audition. I was going to go to RFK and
You and Freddie
trial
both?
me.
Yeah.
And he's like, and you've got a laptop, right? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. I did not have a laptop. I had to ask around and beg a friend to loan me a laptop. And this was back when laptops were, you know, 3 inches thick and weighed 15 pounds and whatever. And you had to plug in and just dinosaur shit. So anyway, I must have done okay because I got the beat writer gig and was doing recaps and raps for the next 8 years as a side hustle. And I was lucky to I got a real job eventually that let me take a long lunch once a week to go over and go to DC United training and get quotes and stuff. And
Doyle,
that was the start
what
of the
makes you think
disease.
that what makes you think it was Freddie Adu related? Maybe there was like, we need all the
The fact
content we
that-
can get on Josh Gross or
Right,
on
that's fair, yeah.
like there's this criminal playing soccer, Dema Kovalenko.
You know what was wild? That particular night, there was a large Galaxy had signed a Korean defender. I think it was at Hongmung.
Hyungbung Bo, yeah.
So there was it was a miniature.
We're full on
Wow,
remembering
guys.
some guys right here.
Hey.
There was like a
Guys,
substantial
Charlie, Matt, like
Korean-
leave some pussy for the rest of us, please. With this talk. Are you fucking like?
There was a Korean like delegation or like Korean press pack that was following because he was like the captain of the national team at the time or something. So there's a fever dream somewhere in someone at AEG's brain probably when the Sonny signing came together. But yeah, it was wild, man.
Dude, I'm looking at the
I
04
can't believe it's
DC
still
roster.
going.
Dude, I love when somebody on an MLS roster on Wikipedia does not even have a Wikipedia page. Do you there's a player on here, his name's Tim Lawson. Any ideas?
Yeah, I don't think
I
he
want to
played.
say goalkeeper and he had like a U.S. youth national team background.
I'm pulling him up right now. No, he's a midfielder.
Those guys, and he was making $13,000. Please
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, exactly. It was mostly
Troy Perkins
teaching soccer
was
clinics.
Troy Perkins was the rags to riches story of that era because he came to DC and he was Nick Rimondo's backup. He was like a draft pick and he was making $13K and he got a job at a sporting goods store. He was like at a Modell's or something to make money. And then he was moving his way up because he eventually got like a financial services or financial planner job. So he's like got a nicer car, and then he eventually became the starter and like actually was again a January camp. Got a cup of coffee or two with the USMNT, but he was explaining very openly how he had to augment that $13K salary in living in freaking
Guys
Washington D.C.
never missed a signing appearance back then because the team would pay him $1,000 to go to a Dick's Sporting Goods or Modell's.
Anything.
Yeah, and like, all right, you're signing autographs for 3 hours, and it sucks because nobody recognizes you. But it's $1,000, and that's like 1/12 of your salary from back then.
Dude,
There's
once
stuff
I
like
was
if you wore Adidas or like there was they could get little bonuses here and there and like or you would.
I mean,
not
that
get
probably
fined
still
or
exists
something.
for Adidas. Like they probably like I ran into the Philadelphia Union this past Friday night. I was in not Philadelphia. Ran into the Columbus Crew. I was in Philly for my niece's graduation, and by Rittenhouse Square, walking back to my hotel with my wife, and there's Daniel Gazdag and Taha Brun and Steven Moreira and Sean Sawatsky, and they were kitted out head to toe in Adidas Columbus Crew gear, and like, to me, that is not the way you would want to go out on the town. And I was like I was walking, like my wife and I were walking this way, and they were walking that way, and as like we're passing, I'm like, Daniel Gazdag, Taha Brun, Steven Moreira, Sean, and they were so fucking thrilled that anybody recognized them. Like, and I'm like, this is a middle-aged couple. Like, it's not a groupie, man. It's me. It's like a 49-year-old dude who looks like this. Like, you shouldn't be that. They were so fucking thrilled, and I just can't imagine that all those bonuses and like contract stuff is not still in place from Adidas because of moments like that. Because otherwise, why would you be wearing that tracksuit matching with your three buddies out on the town in fucking Philadelphia?
And then compare that to when Bruce Arena would tell his team not to wear team gear when they flew in coach.
Bruce always knew.
Don't bring shame to the club.
I'm reminded, like, what was it? Was 2014 MLS Cup? Was that the one? It was in LA, right? That was in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that was LA. That was the last bash in LA. That was
LA.
Everybody got really, really drunk after that cup. But anyway.
Yeah. Do you remember there was a, I'm not gonna name names, but there was like at the night before, it was like a media mixer there, or maybe it was some free, MLS Cup get together.
I remember this.
Yeah, and Bruce was there, and what I'll just say is
Huntington
like
Beach.
Yeah, there was like some. I remember who it was, but again, I will, as a courtesy, I'll say that this employee of Major League Soccer walked up to Bruce Arena on the corner. This person got like wildly drunk. Walked up to Bruce Arena in the corner and asked him if he wanted to go skinny dipping. And Charlie, you remember this, correct?
Yeah, yes.
And the look, I mean, Bruce obviously was very pleased. Bruce's face was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sounds great, wonderful. And that person was like summarily kind of like yanked out of the restaurant and like walked down the street, you know. But that's really struck with me. It's stuck
got
with
a
me.
fresh.
Excuse me.
I got a fresh Bruce Arena story just tonight. I think I may have to
Oh, hell yeah.
work it into the lead somehow. But I got to actually had two great interviews: Sam Sarver and Preston Judd. You can tell that we're approaching the World Cup break, right? They finally had to break down and do some personality guys.
By the way, let me just interrupt you. Like, my impression before you start this story, my impression is that Sam Sarver and Preston Judd are both throwback MLS players who are like guys who would have fit in with the 2012 Goonies. You know, guys who are from a different era. Is that?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Am I correct in that?
say
One?
so.
Right, like
I would
the
say
last
so.
guy that we had like that was Wando. You know, when Wando retired, it was sort of like, yeah.
Sarver ended up being 45 minutes, and it was like there's like I got one of those interviews where you're like, I have too much to work with. Like, how am I gonna wrangle this into something coherent that a normal person will click on? But I'm looking. I still have his Instagram page open. He is clever in the sense he's modern in the sense that he's getting he got like so he chugs a Modelo, right? And then a day later, he tells me, because he posts on Instagram,
But he
and apparently it's
deleted
just
it.
him and a buddy driving. They're driving past the 7-Eleven, and he's like, "Hey, hold on, can you pull over real quick?" Like the day after the game, and he goes in and just grabs a few 6-packs of Modelo's and poses with them, and then posts it on his Instagram and ats the Modelo USA handle, and that combined with telling the story on Dallas Sports Talk Radio, which is a surprisingly large and vibrant, dysfunctional, typical sports talk radio landscape, but like Modelo delivered like 10 to 20 cases of Modelo.
The fucking
bottles to his front door.
the photograph's insane. It's like up to his waist, stacked like 4 rows deep, just cases.
Everything's
of Modelo's.
bigger in Texas.
So,
Yeah.
And I learned that he's actually subletting Marco Farfan's house. So Marco Farfan gets sold to Tigres over the offseason, and he gives Sam Sarver a great deal. Speaking of like charisma, right? So he's got a great deal living in Marco Farfan's house, but he has a ring, and so Farfan gets this notice that someone's at his front door, and it's like cases of Modelo. This tall. And so he has to be like, bro, I know you can't drink all those. He's like, yeah, there'll be plenty for you when you come back for the off season. Like, he says he's got like 100-some beers in the fridge. The fridge is just all Modelo.
I mean,
But
you got to
anyway,
get a separate beer fridge at that point, right?
Yeah. So Sam's clever. I think he's doing his best to strike while the iron is hot here. He just today posted all these like an Adidas photo shoot. Like Adidas like put him on their special list or whatever, because he's got some Adidas bag just hit. Literally, like, it's wild watching his Instagram, in real time is blossoming. But I started talking about this because Judd tells me that when he grew up in Vegas, and when he was he thinks he was 9 or 10, and Bruce Arena gives a coaching clinic at a hotel in Vegas, and his team got picked to be like the demonstration team for Bruce's session. So he actually got coached by Bruce Arena, at like age 10, and he tells Bruce the story of that. He like, I reminded about him too, like this year. And Bruce goes, were you as big a pain in the ass then as you are now? And he said, yeah, probably was, coach, But
I mean, that does sound like Bruce's secret sauce is that he's a ball breaker in a way that like endears him to the players, and it's why he's been such a successful coach
Dude,
for so long.
I got to go. I'm going to tell us a Bruce story to last about 90 seconds. During COVID, he would COVID, if you remember, happened at like the Disney kind of whatever.
this is the
Wide
dog
World
story,
Sports.
isn't it? Is this a dog story?
No, there's a dog
Okay,
story.
all right,
All right.
All right,
So-
wait, sorry.
Yeah, so at this Wide World Sports place, this like Galaxy staffer told me a story. He said that so again, it like MLS does this whole thing at this Disney place, and obviously the COVID protocol is like super strict. Everybody masked up all the time, all sort of shit. And Bruce would just sit in the lobby unmasked, apparently in a chair, and he would make the same joke over and over again to anybody who would listen. They'd walk by, and he'd look around and just go, "What kind of Mickey Mouse operation is this?" Is that fucking incredible?
How
That's
many
fucking
times did he
amazing.
tell it?
What's the dog story?
I thought it was you that I heard this story from, but it must.
It could have been. I've forgotten more than I know at this point. Like
someone in our business. Okay. I think I know who it was. I'll leave them. I'll leave their name out of it. But someone had requested an interview. I think it was when he was at the Galaxy, and they ended up getting him like on an evening. So it's like it's later than usual, but Bruce says yes. You know, he's in a good mood or whatever. So they start doing the phoner, and he keeps like Bruce's dog is barking in the background, and he's like, and it's like it stops and then it starts up again, and then at some point Bruce stops and says, "Hey, can you hold on a minute?" And he puts his hand on the phone and he goes, "Will somebody shut that fucking dog up?"
No, he said it. You're doing it wrong. Because I feel like I heard the audio from this. Bruce's wife's name is Phyllis, so he was just like, "Phyllis, Phyllis, somebody shut that fucking dog up."
Oh.
I wish I could share the full. Wish I could share some of the off-record segments of the long sit down I got to have with Bruce during preseason. But suffice to say that he is he wants to go out the way that he wants to go out, and I suspect he didn't use these terms. He's very classy, generally speaking, on the record. But I think the white hot fire of motivation is. And fuck you mentality is burning brightly in Bruce, and I certainly hope that I find myself rooting for these nuevo Goonie Quakes as a result.
Dude, I gotta go. But the last thing I'll say is the last time I saw Bruce, like I did a one-on-one with him in New England a few years ago. It was not long before the suspension thing, because I wrote this story about his first ever coaching gig, which was at the University of Puget Sound in the '70s. You know, and I like walk into his office. There's the Revs have this like beautiful little training facility by Gillette Stadium, like overlooks the woods and stuff. And I go to his office, and I never assume that anybody will remember me. But I've talked to Bruce obviously 4 or 5 times. I talked to him for like the fucking water fountain piece, right? So I walk in, I say, "Hey Bruce, you know, like I don't know if you remember me, man." Like, you know, and he literally just goes, "I know who you fucking are. Why you keep writing all these stupid fucking stories?" Just like that. And he goes, then he says, "Don't you have a girlfriend?" And I laughed, but of course then I sat down there, and then he just did. He's always been like a great interview. I mean, he just did 45 minutes where he, you know, like told me all these incredible stories and stuff. But like, you know, with the shit he got suspended for, I mean, I feel like me and many other people in the industry heard.
We all know.
I never got any. Yeah, exactly. And I could never get it to a point where it's reportable. You know, so you need people for something like that. So you need someone on the record. But what I would say is it's like it's nothing that would like make me not want to know that guy anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so I understand probably his, Charlie, to your point, the sort of like him feeling a little fucked. You know. But anyways, I got to go. I'm like 15 minutes late here, so.
Thanks for being on the stream, Pablo.
Yeah.
Good luck dealing with the MAGA fallout of your journalism.
Yeah, and human resources of the Guardian after they see the past hour of this stream. Right.
We'll nuke it. Don't worry about it.
That's more subscriptions for Doyle.
Yeah, that's the key metric that we have to worry
Pay up,
about
Alex.
here.
Pay up.
Charlie, I didn't know your genesis, your origin story as a soccer writer, and like, did you have a background in journalism, and like, how did you end up being like the features guy? Like, because even in 2011 when I started, I remember talking to Fershaw and David Grell and Simon, obviously, and Lawless, and they're all like, yeah, Charlie writes the features. He's really good at those. Jonah would say that too. Like, how did are you just good with people?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because I'm not, just to be clear. Yeah.
I don't know about that, dude. But anyway, I was just a beat guy. Like, I grew up playing the game my whole life. Wrote for the school paper, middle school or high school and in college, and but at that time there wasn't really a space for that in soccer, right? That I know there's shitty things about the sport and the industry these days, but I just have to remind myself when you talk to a normal non-soccer person about what you do, and it's like, yeah, this job didn't functionally exist in this country, 20 years ago. So I feel super, super fortunate about that. In terms of getting into features, as with many people, I think in the biz, I have to tip my cap and give my eternal gratitude to Simon Borg, because he was somebody who clearly saw something in me, believed in me as a soccer observer and as a writer, and then I guess faithfully, and then Furchow as well, man. He was the one who brought me on to do editing shifts and trained me on that stuff, and again saw something. And but Simon, at some point early on in the this is the Tom Bogert story as well. Like early on in Tom's career, he kind of took us both aside and was like, listen, you're going to be, he said, Tom, you're going to be the news guy. I want you to go out and break news and dig up stories and cultivate sources. And Charlie, I want you to do the storytelling, and you can write the features and the columns, and these are two different things, and they will, if you try to do them together at the same time, you can often run into problems, right? Because there are cross purposes a little bit. And I think it was just that was what Simon had picked up based on how we wrote and how we compiled and processed information. So I didn't really know it at the time, but that set me off on this course.
Charlie, where can we find all of your work? I know it's MLS Soccer, and I know you were working for Soccer America for a long time. Where else can we find?
Not at the moment.
Stuff?
Not at the moment with Soccer America. Although I'd love to go. That was one of those cool bucket list things, right? To be on that, because I'm old enough to have paged through the Dead Tree Soccer Americas in the.
I think I subscribed in '89 was my first Soccer America subscription. So yeah.
Truly the OGs. But yeah, I'm on Blue Sky these days. Had to leave Twitter behind.
Good for you.
And at the end of 2024, and then I'm trying to do better on Instagram, but it's just not as conducive to to the written word so much. But that's a work in progress. So yeah, Blue Sky is where I post my stuff. It's probably I don't know, 3/4 or more, 90% sometimes of my output is on the league site. But every once in a while, I can throw things together for somebody else, like Backheeled or Sounder at Heart. I'm going to do some Sounder at Heart work for the around the World Cup. Got 2 longer pieces in their upcoming magazine, IV, which is their World Cup edition of the new print magazine, which is super exciting. I didn't think I'd ever get to see myself in a Dead
print
Tree mag.
Yeah.
In the year 2026.
Climbing into a time machine.
Oh, it's glorious. Especially because Jeremiah Oshan is great to work with, and has let me stretch my legs on a couple of things. One piece is about the USMNT, and actually, incredibly, we're back on 2013 again. The 2013 World Cup qualifier in Seattle, where they beat Panama and kind of changed the game a little bit for how people perceived USMNT supporter culture and home field advantage and what was possible there. So kind of one of the stepping stones that took us to USMNT Australia at Lumen Field next month was that game. So I got to dive into that a little bit, and then I also did what I thought was a fun piece, interesting piece, very much rabbit hole type piece about Iran at this World Cup and their diaspora, and how they're not the only ones, but they're maybe Exhibit A of a country on they're on the Trump banned list, the travel ban list. So there won't be any traveling supporters from Iran, but there will be incredible support. I think it's maybe even going to surprise those of us who are expecting it. In LA in particular, they're gonna pack that place out.
Tarangelis.
Yeah, indeed. That term features prominently in the piece.
So what are you doing for the World Cup then? Are you going to be in LA and Seattle, or are you going to be?
Yeah, yeah. Two. I've got the MLS has me on the two U.S. games in LA, and then two other games. I get to cover Iran, New Zealand, and the round of 32 there game there, which is probably maybe going to be Canada. And then I'm going up to Seattle for U.S. Australia, and then we'll see. I don't know what July is going to look like. I don't know. I'm still there's a
Yeah,
lot of
well,
TBA there, but
hopefully there'll be 3 games in July, but I'm not counting on it. Are you going to be in
yeah.
Chicago for the friendly?
No, I decided to pass on all that because
Yeah, you'll be traveling for a while.
yeah, my kid is my kid goes off to she goes to sleepaway camp for late June into most of July. So it was going to be like 2 months of not seeing my daughter. So I'm going to stay at home. My the Germany weekend in LA in Chicago is my birthday weekend. So be home for that and then hit the road on the 9th, I think is when I'm flying out, and then be an OC resident for a little while.
Dan, let me ask you this, because
Hmm.
you're still a soccer fan, right? But you're
Hmm.
not you're not a sicko.
No,
Like,
definitely not a sicko for soccer anymore.
Wait.
Are-
He can't you can't unsicko.
You
I
you
think you're-
can in
I
fact
think that's
unsicko.
emeritus status.
It takes 10 years, but you can finally do it. I
it
promise
takes
you.
10 years and at least one cat.
And a
Um,
lot of
Sage.
cocktails. Let's be
Yeah.
clear. Yeah.
How, like, what role? So first of all, what role is the World Cup playing in your life this summer? And two, like, what is your? My perception is that it has not been marketed well. That the everything that I've seen about the World Cup is about how expensive tickets are and how bad the U.S. team is, and that's not the greatest sell in the world, even if it's kind of unfair.
So I will say I got to level set like a little bit here. Like the extent of my soccer following at this point in terms of media coverage are the two of you, Pablo, and whatever Apple News sticks in front of me, like in the morning.
Sam fucking Stachel. That's what that is, right
you know,
there. Yeah, directly into your brain.
that's enough, right? And I will say, like, generally speaking, like I had a moment at work last week, and I don't work anywhere near sports for those of you who care, but like I had somebody excitedly but confusingly tell me, "Did you know that New York is hosting the World Cup?" And like I did like a giant article kind of dump of bullets quickly, just because like no, this is obvious. Like, what are you doing? And so the major impact, again, I'm just outside of New York City, Jersey City. The major impact here is, oh my God, it's gonna fuck up everybody's commute for some number of days, and we have no idea how to deal with this. And it's confusing because, like, look, one of the things that I fell in love with soccer when I came back to it in 2010, and Matt, I didn't realize we kind of started at the same time.
Yeah, well,
Like my real journalism moment was like late 2011, all things considered. Like there is inconsistent information about what this will mean for anyone. We just had signs go up in like the subway and related systems around like, hey, it's going to be really bad on match day. You're probably going to want to do something else rather than take this train system. Like, that's it. Outside of like in my neighborhood, there's probably 12 Modelo ads because it's the official beer of whatever the fuck. But like otherwise,
Sam Sarver, the World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, glad he finally made it like a legitimate brand. No, I've talked to, like, I've got soccer fans in my office. Here's the Chelsea fan, here's the Arsenal fan, here's the one NYCFC fan, and like nobody's going to these games. Nobody can afford it or is interested enough in it to like really get there. Now, New York City always gets up for the World Cup. Like, it's always a party. There's always a ton of shit going on, and it's fun. But what this will feel like in practice, I don't think we're going to know until it really starts.
Yeah.
And that, again, like, I missed out on 94. I was 14 at the time. I was in upstate New York, had no way to do any of this, but that was peak soccer teenager years. And I was enraptured by it, but I couldn't go to any of the games. And so I thought, the announcement that the US and Canada and Mexico were getting this World Cup happened right after I retired. I was still really paying attention. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe by 26, I'm going to be in a place where I want to go to this. Surely there will be some local games. This will be good. I want to go to a World Cup. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything at this point.
Yeah.
Like getting to MetLife would be a disaster as the closest stadium. I don't have a car, so I'd have to go into New York to take the train, but whatever. And it's sad, ultimately. Like, this could have been another 94 moment, and we're going to miss it.
I don't disagree with that at all. And I'm old enough. I'm 4 years older than you. So I was 3.5 years older than you. So I was almost 18 when 94 happened. I was able to go to Ireland, Italy at the Meadowlands, the old Meadowlands, the old Giant Stadium.
Right.
And that was, yeah, exactly, Charlie. You got it. It was a hell of a scene, except it was fucking Irish. Like, that stadium was 90% Irish. And it's like a quarter Irish, a quarter Italian. Like, that permanently tilted me towards my Irish side that day. But it was, Don Garber I think he's done a spectacular job, but he's repeatedly used the term rocket fuel for MLS, talking about the 26 World Cup. And I have trouble seeing. I'm going to steer the conversation in a different direction.
Sure.
In lieu of Charlie's employment status. Dad, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What could MLS do to get you back, to make you be like, you know what, I'm going to buy a 5-game season ticket package this year because it's that good?
Oh, God, that is a tough question. So I think you alluded to this in one of the ramp up pieces to this, but I went almost 3 years after retirement without going to an MLS game.
Yeah.
And in fairness, it was only because Pablo said, hey, I'm coming in for, brace yourselves, NYCFC hosting the Colorado Rapids in April.
That's a fucking scene right there.
At fucking Yankee Stadium, and it ended up being a rainy day because, it's April. Do you want to come with? And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck ever. Sure. And it's basically been, I dip into one game a year, generally at Red Bull Arena. It's, easy for me to get to in Jersey City. And every time I go, it's like, yep, this is soccer. The stadium's 70% empty. The concourse sucks. The South Ward's empty. Glad to know it's still here. Like, cool, man. And to get me back, I mean, honestly, I think it sort of ties back to the hand wringing I had. What was it, 21, when NYCFC won the title?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, there was this belief.
Look, by the way, the fact that you know that means that you know more than 90% of MLS executives. So well done.
And especially in NYC, any fan, let's be honest. But so there was so much hand wringing. Like, I was, weirdly enough, I was in Portland the day that NYCFC got announced because I was on work travel, and I think I went to a U.S. Open Cup game a day or two later for Timbers 2, of all things to do. So I was deep at the moment, but there was this belief across all the NYC fan bases that whoever wins MLS Cup first, that's the legitimate team. That team's going to run, and the other team's going to die, and that's it. And Red Bulls we all know, right?
Yeah.
So NYCFC wins this weird pandemic era MLS Cup on whatever nonsense in Portland in 21, and my initial reaction was like, all right, fall the Red Bulls. This is a shame. It's sad, but whatever. It's over. And I think NYCFC has somehow done worse. I'm not watching the attendance numbers anymore, but the market's not there for either of these teams. And I think that neither team has figured out that it's not any one thing, but it's the combination. You need a good match day experience. You need a team that's going to generally win, and you're going to feel good going to the games. And this is the thing that I think both teams have fallen apart on. You need stars to hang like the casuals around. You need somebody to light it up. I hate to be the guy going like, my era of MLS was the best, but like, you got Henry, you got Marquez, you got Cahill, you got 2 supporter shields. You got like legitimately, you got BWP, you got Dax. Like, I'm not gonna run through everybody, but like, you're missing that feeling of these players have personalities and they're known. Outside of Maxi Morales, I know nobody on MLS at this time.
Oh God, yeah, nobody.
Yeah, right. And so without all of those things coming together, this market's never going to get there. And I realize NYC is a little different than everybody else in the country, a little bit. But I think that's what both of these teams have to figure out is how do you get there a little bit with all of it? I know NYCFC is opening whatever the new stadium is. What is it? Middle of next year.
Next year.
The sprint season.
Yeah.
Right. Etihad Park with a giant concrete pigeon or whatever at the
Fuck yeah,
entrance.
dude.
Yeah, no, that'll be great. But like, it will spike it because people will be like, "Oh, new stadium, cool," and then it's going to level out. You got to do all of that stuff in combination, and you know, like I've got the Knicks game on while we're doing this, and they're blowing out the Cleveland for the second straight game.
It doesn't seem like a fucking blowout to me. I got to tell you.
Well,
like,
sorry, the score's not up right now. I want
Knicks
John
hater is
McEnroe.
logged on.
No, I'm just like I'm really pissed because I had a parlay of the Knicks minus 5.5, the over, which they're not going to fucking hit, and Brunson over 25.5 points, and he has 9 points. Like, come on, this is costing me money.
It says led by 15 entering fourth quarter. What am I? Show me the actual scores. What are we at?
I will say
It's 88 to 80.
Okay. We'll see. But like,
I will say the Etihad Park is supposed to be the differentiator, right? Like who can get nobody's gotten a stadium like this built in the five.
It's like having a baby
really
to save a marriage, though. You know, like it's like
Yes.
it's gonna be beautiful, but it's not gonna fix everything. Like
hey, listen, I live in DC, man. The place where the stadium panacea was held out for a decade is like this is going to fix everything. And by the time they finally got into the stadium, the organizational culture was already so sandblasted that they've hosted one playoff game in the MLS men's playoff game in the history of the venue so far. So.
It's an NWSL stadium, yeah.
Yes,
it is. Yes, it is.
So I remember. So I was there for the weird like, we're gonna do something in Queens thing. I went to the rally right after Hurricane Sandy at the Science Center in Flushing Meadows Park, which was with the Cosmos, just to remind everybody, because that's where we were at in 2012.
And they're back.
Well, Eric Stover will never let them die. Let's be fair.
Good for him.
Yeah, get that money, dude. But I remember, what was it, 2014-ish, when the league announced, not NYCFC, but the league announced, we're going to bring an MLS team to Queens, and it's going to be, Flushing Meadows, whatever. And I was like in it enough at that moment that I bashed out 5 questions for Court Munch almost immediately. Like I was probably front of the line to get a media response out of him. And my number one question, this is probably still in the Gothamist piece you can find, but it's like, this is Flushing Meadows. It is further from Midtown Manhattan, downtown Manhattan, whatever, than Red Bull Arena is. Like Flight of the Crow, right? Does MLS consider this to be in the urban core of New York City? And the response I got back was, yes, MLS believes this is in the urban core. I'm going to Flushing Meadows on Sunday night for a wrestling show. It's the furthest fucking thing you could possibly do.
All right. So hold on a second. As someone who lived almost a decade on the 7 train, fuck you. Flushing Meadows is the urban core. Okay, I didn't even have a single fucking transfer, my friend. I'm so angry.
How many times did you go to Flushing Meadows, man?
You know what? This interview is over.
Okay, cool.
Speaking of, we're at the end of the stream here. I just want to answer some questions. William Hagens asks, "What the fuck is Sam Stejskal doing now?" I misallocation disorder. Sam went corporate. He took a job with Apple 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, which is why I was making the joke that when Dan sees Apple TV push notifications about soccer, that's Sam Stejskal's work. I'm not sure exactly what he does, but I think it's that.
Matt, is he the one shooting this LA Houston game on
On
Saturday
an iPhone?
exclusively on iPhone 17 Pro?
He could be. He could be. He's a man of many talents. Best drink with an MLS coach / player story. Pablo kind of told a story about drinking with. That's not his best. Pablo has the best drinking with coaches / player stories. I will tell mine. This is 3 years ago. I don't remember this, 2002 or 2003, but it was after a Metro Stars game. This was the Bob Bradley head coach era. There's a gas station liquor store right outside the old Meadowlands, and my wife and I and a couple of buddies piled into a van, and we go to the gas station to fuel up before the drive back across or under the tunnel to get back to New York City. And we ran into Mike McGee, who was 19 years old at the time, and he asked us to buy him beer. He wanted a 30 rack of Busch Light, and we got him Bud Heavies because they lost that day. So we wanted him to know how it's not quite La Familia level of like throwing the birds, but like we let Mike know that it needed to be better. Do either of you guys have a best drinking with the coach or player story that you can share?
I don't have a coach player story, but I'll tell this one just because of where we are. So 2013 was the first time I really got to travel again on my own dime for the journalism thing. And I went to opening kick, and the Red Bulls were playing in Portland. And that was actually where I met Matt for the first time. We were doing what was a basically nobody media availability. It was Matt, me, and Jeff Reuter. And it was like Mike Petke's first game in charge of the Red Bulls. So Nines Hotel, floor in the middle of nowhere, random interview. And afterwards, I met up with my wife at the bar downstairs, and Matt had texted me something like, "Hey, I'm going to be watching, the Saturday night games with Alexi and Taylor. If you guys want to swing by, we're in the lobby." And so, like, my wife was maybe 30 feet from that. My wife, embarrassingly enough, like, had a little bit of a thing for Alexi. It was before he went full MAGA, whatever. And so she's wrapping up dinner, and we finish up. And so I just very casually go, "So you want to go hang out with Alexi Lawless and Taylor Twellman?" And she's like, "What?" And so we came over, and I hung out with, it was basically the ESPN crew for the game day on Sunday. And they had 3 laptops out on this weird couch thing in the Nines. And we sat, and again, Alexi and Taylor actually calling games as they wanted to at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Really goddamn funny. And I will always hold that memory, not just because that was like the start of my relationship with Matt, but like that was sort of peak MLS for me.
Chuck?
My turn?
Yeah.
A couple popped to mind. It's just talking about the old days. Again, really showing my age here, but I do remember in the old heads will remember Bobby Boswell. And the BobbyBoswell.com era. The first,
by the way, let me just interrupt. Keep an eye out. You can see that name real soon.
Oh, Doyle dropping bombs in here. Okay. He was one of the early guys who was, saw that maybe if he made the right moves, you could cultivate an image, or like he just had a website, right? And like just that distinguished him from the norm in MLS at the time, like some level of personality, some attempt to connect with the wider audience or connect with fans outside of the normal channels. And they had some kind of party. They had like a nightclub style party, and like Bobby Boswell, like I went to go cover it. Literally, like this was like beat stuff. Like, oh, I'll go to this club where Bobby Boswell is having some kind of event, and I got to go behind the velvet rope and sit with the players and in the champagne room type of thing at this nightclub. And in my mid 20s making like $50 a story. That was
Right.
that was actually cool. You know, like a player treated me like a human being, so that was pretty cool. God, what else? There's a few. There was a time. He's not a current player, but Pablo and I had a great session one night after a DC United game in the Rooney era with Thomas Rongan, and I tell you what, man, the guy's a fun hang when there's a bar nearby. And it turns out we were hanging at the same bar down at the wharf that Wayne Rooney was spotted and photographed with fans
Getting tossed
as an
out
active
of.
player. Not long after. Yeah, so that one was pretty fun. And then there's a few others crop to mind. There was some wild like weird memorable moments after MLS Cup finals. That's always an interesting time, right? Like the season's over.
Oh yeah.
You finally file and get out of the stadium, and it's just like you just want a beer or drink or something. And I remember stumbling onto the Portland Timbers drowning their sorrows after the 2018 MLS Cup final in Atlanta. Pre-problematic Gavin Wilkinson buying rounds for the whole bar, doing us a solid. And then there was another one that I can't forget. I was hanging out with Zito
Zito Madu, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember where he was. Like, it was classic Zito because he was like, "Oh, I know, I play with some of these guys, so I'm just like gonna go hang out with them, whatever." It was like it was the losing team after the MLS Cup final, and it was like there's a very particular vibe to that when you stumble onto those kind of occasions, so that those stick out a little bit. And yeah, I guess it's somehow I became someone who people didn't immediately, if they ran into me in that situation like that, they didn't assume that I was gonna go report something, which would be idiotic anyway. We're finally at a point now where there's actual like relevance, enough of a semblance of relevance around this league that people think that way, that maybe something could leak or someone could look bad or something, and you gotta. That was an early lesson in the industry, right? You got to be smart about that stuff and be thoughtful about how you handle information that you pick up in all different kinds of settings and manners.
Is it still fun for you?
It is, man. It is. I mean, MLS has gotten a lot more corporate, right? Like, that's obvious, right? You can
I
tell
noticed.
from the inside.
Yeah.
Tell from the outside.
3.5 months ago when I got fucking fired, I noticed that it was gotten a little bit more corporate.
I'll bet it predated that too. Yeah. But, and I know, like, the reality, the one true rule of this industry, such as it is that anyone can get it, right? It can happen any moment. Try to stay light on my feet, but here I am. It's been 12 years or so that I've able to scratch out a sustainable full-time living. I mean, it helps to have a W-2 earner in the house as a 1099 earner, right? Like, I still haven't ascended to true talent status, like Weeby or some of those guys. But I feel super fortunate. Again, I just have to have a conversation with like a parent from my kid's school or something, and they're like, "Wait, what do you do? Like, what?" And any bitching and moaning that.
Do you say sports writer or soccer writer when you have to?
I start with the writer, and I hope that I don't get pressed any further.
Yeah.
People go, "Wait, what do you write about?" I go, mostly write about soccer.
I think I'm going to start saying I write a newsletter. I feel like saying I write a newsletter, it has like more cultural credibility these days. You're shaking your head, Dan.
Everybody's writing a newsletter, man.
Yeah, but like
if you say podcaster, you could just say podcaster. People are like, "All right, next, moving along."
Yeah,
great.
That's content marketer, right? Charlie, I will say, and I don't know who's listening still, but like we've like been on parallel paths for so long, but like we haven't crossed over so much, but like I was hanging with Matt the day everything went down, right? And I had sort of written off MLS soccer at that point. And I will say, your weekly stuff is like filling a gap real well. You're holding it down.
It would be good no matter what outlet it was for, and that's why like people have said, like, over the past 3 months, I have a little bit of bitterness, but like I don't want people to deprive themselves of your work because your work is so consistently excellent.
Yeah.
I feel about your feature writing the way I feel about Strauss's investigative stuff or Pablo's news of the weird and shit like that, and so I hope everybody listening to this read Charlie Boehm, follow him on Blue Sky, read him on MLSsoccer.com and wherever he's writing these days, and obviously read Pablo. Thank you for Pablo to Pablo for being the fucking, let's face it, the star of this show, because nobody has better stories. And spam Dan's social media. Try to get him back in, man. Like reel this fucking guy back into the world of U.S. soccer, and specifically the sickerdom that is MLS.
Good luck, motherfuckers.
And with that, thank you all. Brown Liquor Special.
Thanks, guys.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to do another Brown Liquor Special next month. But truth be told, with the World Cup schedule, it might be not till the end of July. I'll let you all know who the guests will be, and you'll see these guys and Pablo again in hopefully the not too distant future. And thank you as well to producer Doug for being on the ones and twos back there and making sure that I didn't break anything. Let's call it. Thank you all. Salud.
Cheers, guys.